Hello and welcome everyone. I'm your host Stefan Burns with a quick live stream update for you because there have been two notable explosions of some sort for the Southeast United States today, May 28th. And they are not one and the same event. One of them is unknown as to its origin. So it's even a stretch a little bit to say it was an explosion. There was a very loud sonic boom that people heard and felt really strongly in Columbia, South Carolina. But as you see with these USGS Do You Feel It responses into North Carolina, into Georgia, close to even all the way over here in Tennessee, like Western Tennessee. So this was an anomalous event and we do not know what caused this. We have one of our longtime viewers and supporters here, lives in the area, felt like an earthquake to me, but USGS has come out and said this event is not an earthquake. The recorded waves and eyewitness reports are consistent with a sonic boom. So they've manually assigned a magnitude of 0. And in general, for something like a sonic boom, the best explanation typically would be like a meteor or maybe the re-entry of space junk, though it had to be pretty big space junk to create a sonic boom heard all across the southeastern United States. We don't have any meteor reports for this. And we've had a lot of sonic booms and meteor sightings just this March of this year. There was an anomalous surge, the most ever recorded by the American Meteor Society in their about 15 years of records. And there were hundreds of eyewitness accounts, fragments recovered, like in Ohio, there was a sonic boom. So it's a bizarre event. This is a mysterious explosion. I mentioned that there were two. We also had a rocket test launch via Blue Origin down here at the Space Force Center, Cape Canaveral, Florida. And well, that went off with a boom as well. Check this out. This is insane. So here is a New Glenn rocket. Blue Origin, I think, just got selected for like moon base rocket payloads and everything. Like they got a big contract from NASA. That rocket didn't make it, as you can see. Crazy shockwave coming off of that. This occurring about 4 hours after this mysterious sonic boom. So many people feeling and seeing this. Honestly, this looks like a nuclear explosion. Now it's not, I mean, that shockwave coming off is insane. And this formed like a mini mushroom cloud. People saw this from the distance. They heard this from a distance. Here we can see that view from about 5 miles away from a park nearby. Watch the shockwave that also goes up here. Sorry, flashing lights, warning, sorry. But check out the shockwave right there. And then you'll see the mushroom cloud eventually like start to form and come up. So gigantic explosion out of Florida as a result of this rocket exploding. This being the New Glenn rocket from Blue Origin. They have hopes and ambitions to go to the moon. That one did not go to the moon. But I find it very interesting that we had a clustering of explosive events for the southeastern part of the United States today. One of them unexpected but planned, you could say. This rocket launch was planned. The other one being a complete unknown, and we still do not know what caused this mysterious sonic boom over primarily South Carolina. If we look at our 1 kilometer responses here, you can see that a lot of people reported for this explosion, sonic boom, whatever it is. Some people saying they felt like an earthquake. USGS saying it wasn't an earthquake. Earthquakes, if they're really... See, the thing is, if you want to like sometimes earthquakes will create a loud noise or like even a sonic boom. Case in point, the recent magnitude 6 that struck Hawaii, that was on the west side of the Big Island. My friend on the northern part of the island, she heard the earthquake before she felt it, because you have three types of seismic waves. You have compressional waves, P waves, these are the fastest, and you have shear waves, and then these are S waves, and then you have surface waves where most of the energy is. So the shaking for an earthquake is from the shear waves, the surface waves, again primarily the surface waves. The P waves are fast, and since they're compressional, they can create that noise, that sound, that low rumbling or even shockwave sound that you hear before all of a sudden things really start going, the ground starts shaking. So if you get loud sonic booms, shock waves, things of this nature, you're typically thinking about compressional waves, okay? Compressional waves can travel through the atmosphere, they can travel through the ground, they can travel through water. The shear wave can't travel through water because the particles are shearing like this. Compressional wave is just they're hitting each other and creating this cascade. So this was a sonic boom first and foremost. For an earthquake to have a loud sonic boom, it's got to have shear waves and surface waves, because a compressional wave is the smallest component of the energy of an earthquake. So if they didn't record shear waves or surface waves, it wouldn't be an earthquake. But we did get all these reports of a sonic boom. And some of these reports were quite strong. Yellow intensity there is quite significant. So that's, I think, like moderate intensity. And we have those scattered across here. We see another one right there. You know, this is variable, of course. Some people may feel more shaken up from something than other people. But we have four, here's one from the periphery. 4 yellow intensity did you feel it responses, epicenter approximately right here. Here's another yellow one all the way over here. So quite a ways away. And you see these do you feel it responses really spreading out. I mean, here's one for example, up in the mountains and the hills to the north. We have them across, you know, the state of North Carolina too, though there's not that many. So that's why it's nice to look at the 1 kilometer responses, because if you look at the 10 kilometer responses, it makes you think that a lot more people perhaps heard this or felt it than they did. But it's really just like 1 or 2 people who must have been chilling on their bed or couch in a really quiet situation, probably hanging out in the chair, TV's not on, something like that. So this is the unknown explosion. And I wanted to report on this because we've been covering a lot of things on this channel. Hello and welcome. If you're new here, I'm your host, Stefan Burns, geologist, geophysicist, space weather guy. This area is very interesting energetically too. We can mention that when I was in Greensboro, we went to Pilot Mountain as part of Cosmic Summit. This was this whole conference centered around like cosmic impacts and crazy things. 2 days later, we had a fireball fly over Pilot Mountain, and it specifically also impacted in Charlotte. I believe, no, it wasn't Charlotte, it was in Georgia. It went all the way down to Atlanta, Georgia. So this is just kind of a little bit of a case study example from my own life of just how weird things can happen. Because we go to this mountain, there's that Cosmic Summit, and then this meteor's flying over like 48 hours later saying like, hey, we heard you, here we are. So weird things happen here. Appalachia, you have a whole bunch of weird things happening in Appalachia. Sightings, mysterious phenomena. I know up in Pennsylvania, you can go up to Coudersport, which is, I believe it's more up here. Super, super tiny little town. I've only been there once. They have this ice cave there that somehow always stays frozen and icy, and it's even more so during the summer than the winter. No one knows why. So there's weird things that happen here. Okay, we had this mysterious explosion, and again, the other one that occurred was the New Glenn rocket from Blue Origin today, May 28th, exploding around 9 p.m. local time. That's UTC -4. So that was, again, 9 p.m. So that'd be about 1 a.m. Universal Time. 1 a.m. Universal Time on the 29th. Well, just to go back to this really quick, we see the time here is 21:24 Universal Time. So it's about 3.5 hours before the New Glenn rocket explosion. So they're not one and the same event. Though, just to point out, right, here we have one of these do you feel it responses there in Georgia, really far away. Check that out. And for this rocket explosion, there have been some people reporting that they heard it like in Sarasota. So just interesting that we get two widely heard explosion sonic boom events within 3.5 hours of each other. One known, one unknown. But this one did occur again before the New Glenn rocket explosion. Okay, so what's the first thing that we should do to check to see maybe what this was? Well, we should go to our American Meteor Society event page where you can see what's happening in terms of meteorites and just eyewitness reports of fireballs, okay? Because if it's not an earthquake or a quarry explosion or something like that, well, it's probably going to be a fireball, like, you know, a meteorite from space, and it's big enough to explode upon hitting the troposphere. We don't see an event report for this yet. We have one there for New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. 8 people reported this. We see the location there. I mean, this is nearby, but this isn't the event. This occurred today at around 1:52 Universal Time. So this is like 20 hours basically before this mysterious sonic boom. And everything else is older than that. We have one over Pennsylvania, New York, bits of Canada there, right? But that was back on the 27th. Nothing's been updated. And having tracked this fireball surge that occurred in March and parts of April of this year, I became very familiar with the American Meteor Society, how they update things, some other data platforms we'll look at to verify. Typically, if there's a big fireball event, we start getting these reports come in like within an hour. So it's been some time now and we don't have any reports. So as of right now, I can't say this definitively, okay? I'm not one to hype things up just to hype it up, right? But as of right now, we don't have anyone that saw this sonic boom generation. We didn't see any fireballs or meteorites, no space junk, nothing's been reported. This is why I'm reporting on this for you, to collect and aggregate all the info that we have. Right now at this moment in time, it is 8:59 p.m. on the west coast of the United States, California. So it is nearly midnight now for the East Coast. And well, again, this was reported, this sonic boom was reported at 5, this would be 5:24 local time, because it'd be UTC -4. So if it's 9:24 -4, it's 5. So it's been more than 6 hours now. We don't have any reports on this. So the next thing you can do is you can go and look at bolide detections from Geostationary Lightning Mapper. And this is a web page provided by NASA. I checked this. I'm just showing you this for a completionist standpoint. But if you look at the info here, they have yet to update it for the past 2 weeks. So we don't see any ability to detect bolide impacts picked up from our geostationary satellites for the past 2 weeks. Now, as we go into June, you know, this will start to get filled in as they process the data. But this is another site that I would look at, and I'm showing you right now to get a sense of what the deal is, because here we see during this time frame actually that's selected, we see 2 impacts there. It can pick them up across the globe. If we go back even to, let's say, like the beginning here, you see all these suspected bolide impacts that have come in across the years. And this is all picked up by our geostationary satellites, GOES East, GOES West. There's different confidence ratings. So the point of me, I guess, really showing you and saying this is that we do have an ability to detect bolide impactors or just fireballs, whatever, even without eyewitness reports due to our geostationary satellite fleet that's maintained by NASA and NOAA. We probably don't get all the events, but clearly we have good coverage across the satellite views. So this is, again, the data is not out for this time frame, but I don't think it's going to show anything because we can look directly at our GOES imagery here. So here we have this. I have this set for the southeast sector view, and this is up to date. This is a 20 image loop. And I'm just going to scroll around here, okay? So actually, I think I can just do it. Yeah. Okay, so there's Georgia. There is South Carolina. Maybe I can actually zoom out for you. I think I'm going to have to do that to make this better. Yeah, here we go. Okay. And this is our lightning tracker. So we have our visual look at this, but also we're tracking lightning flash intensity. So there have been some thunderstorms across this area. I mean, it's possible there was maybe like a super bolt of lightning. If you don't know what that is, a super bolt can be like 10, more like 100 to 1,000 times stronger than a regular lightning strike. They can stretch across hundreds of miles. So it is possible that this is a super bolt. I'm actually thinking this right now for the first time. So there could have been a super bolt that occurred, but I think that would probably show up. And what you'll see here is I'm going to scrub through this again. Let's just check. The sonic boom was reported to occur at 21:24 Universal Time today, 21:24. So we go here and we look at our time, 21:06. Okay. Now the epicenter for this is right about here. If we just scrub through this, you see that we can do it every 5 minutes. So again, we're looking like right here for something. We do see this little green flash there at 21:26. The key time identifies 21:24. This is 21:26. We do have this little green flash that pops up right there. It's just a single time. It goes away. Then we do start to get some lightning activity nearby. But there are just, sometimes little random artifacts like this. We see two others that pop up there afterwards. Right, there's another one, but now we're at 21:36. So we do have one single pixel with our lightning tracker at 21:26, about 90 to 120 seconds after the sonic boom was reported, in approximately the right location. It's more here. I'm just showing you this. I don't think that we actually picked up anything with this, but for completionist sake, so we can rule out everything as best as possible, this is what the GOES East lightning flash map is showing us for this time frame. So nothing obvious. And these meteorite impacts often do just show up as like a little pixel. And what makes it really clear is when you actually don't have any thunderstorm activity and you get one to come in, and then it's the one rogue pixel that lights up because of the plasma generated, going through the atmosphere. A lightning strike is plasma. So as this bolide's flying through the atmosphere, it lights up with plasma all around it, and that shows up with our geostationary satellite lightning tracker. But with there being all these lightning storms around, it's not showing up that clearly. I wouldn't bet the house on this, but we do have a little pixel in approximately the right location. It's not really that close. Now going back to our other explosion, I'll just read from you a little bit from the AP here. Blue Origin rocket exploded during a test at the launch pad Thursday night, shaking nearby homes and briefly painting the sky orange. Its New Glenn rocket exploded during an engine firing test. No one was hurt, according to officials at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Too early to know what the root cause was. It's been a rough day. They'll rebuild whatever needs rebuilding, get back to flying. We've had these sort of explosions before from rockets. There's a history there. Some of them have been deadly, others have not been. Thankfully, this one wasn't. But big explosion. The officials said there was no threat due to fumes or other potential hazards, but the officials say stuff like that all the time. I personally wouldn't be happy if I lived 5 miles away and there was a giant nearly nuclear explosion occurring in my backyard. Like, I personally would not be happy about that. But hey, I don't live there, so I'm just a commenter online, okay? Here's someone right here saying, I saw the whole thing, it was insane. So rules for you, but not rules for certain people. That's how it is. You know, you try to set off something like that in your backyard, it's not, you're going straight to jail. And while you do it at the Space Force Station, I guess it's a triumph and an achievement. So this is pretty big explosion out of Florida coming in about 3.5 hours after this mysterious sonic boom explosion was reported around South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. It was really widely felt this first mysterious explosion, sonic boom, was felt. People saying it felt like an earthquake, but again, we don't have any evidence of that. So here we have a comment. I have no ability to verify whether this is accurate or not. Just heard there was a large explosion in Dallas. I think I heard something about there being like a chemical tank explosion or something in Texas. So thanks for bringing that up, DD Angel. And then actually on that note, we can look at our latest earthquakes. And just because we're talking about explosions in the United States right now, we do see here that there was an explosion in Oregon today. So a 2.5 magnitude explosion here in Oregon. I'm not sure if this is associated with a quarry or something, or maybe someone just wanted to blow something up. Looks like it's happening near some farmland. I think that's farmland, not solar panels. That'd be crazy. It just looks a little different than normal. Regardless, explosion clocking in at a magnitude 2.5 there from Prineville. And let's actually go through here and look at the waveforms and see how it shows up, because it should show a strong compressional wave for nearby seismographs. Hopefully we get one that's close by, because it's only a magnitude 2.5. So I don't know how strong it's going to show up for this seismograph right here in Corvallis, Oregon. And yeah, it's not really showing up too much different from the background signal, though you do see a little bit greater density there in the waveform. So still clearly a recognizable event, but in terms of just being able to see a pure compressional shock wave, at least from that seismic station, we don't have anything. The others are pretty far away, but we will check out this waveform from Mena, Nevada. It's not really showing anything special. And we'll also look at the one here for Columbia College in California. Nothing remarkable there. So no real good data on this 2.5 magnitude equivalent explosion in Oregon. If you look through the record and the map for USGS, you find out daily, or if you go back in time, you find out that there's actually quite a few explosions that get picked up by the American Seismic Network, because there's quarrying. Sometimes there's explosions for other reasons, like there's a little bit of unknown with some of these things. Of course, there were a bunch of nuclear explosions that were blasted off in Nevada back in the 60s and 70s and more. So it's not like we've never had explosions in the United States, but if they occur, it's because typically we're the one doing the exploding. You know, the people here are the ones doing the exploding. It's not like other people are dropping bombs on the U.S. We're dropping our own bombs, exploding things, sonic booms, and more. But the key thing with this mysterious one is that as of right now, more than 6 hours after this event, 6.5 hours as I record this live for you right now, we do not have an event page for a fireball or anything over this part of the United States, the southeast United States, for this mysterious explosion. So I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was from, but we do have all these reports here, and I think maybe it'll tell us how many reports we got. If let's Let's see. Let's see if it tells us how many people. Responses versus time. Yeah, here's the graphic. Okay. So after about 2 hours, we were already at 1,400 responses, and now we're at 1,570. So obviously not everyone's responding and saying, hey, like I felt this, whatever. But just for reference, there are about 1 million people that live in the metropolitan area around here. And then if we include in everyone else, right? Because we have some of these responses pretty far out. This is millions of people. Now, how many people consciously felt this? Like, whoa, what was that? You know, it's probably not 1 million people, but it's tens of thousands, undoubtedly. I would probably say maybe close to like 100,000 people. A lot of people were commenting on this online. I had people reach out to me on Instagram. But this energy still affects you, whether you kind of like feel, like actually hear it or not. You know, that shock wave still ripples out. So that's an interesting thing to consider, that just there was this clustering today on the 28th of May of these explosive energies in the southeast part of the United States. So for some reason, there's just this manifestation of explosive energy there. Now, if you have any questions, we're going to do a quick question and answer, and then I'm going to sign off for you. Just wanted to do a quick live stream on this, quick update. I know a lot of people right now are saying it was probably space junk or a fireball or something from space, right? Natural, whatever. We don't have any evidence of that. There's no eyewitness reports. There's no reports of the American Meteor Society. We're not picking up anything on the lightning map except that, I don't know, that 1 pixel that's not even at the exact epicenter. It's more off to the side to the west. So this really is a complete unknown, mysterious thing that occurred. It's very, very bizarre. It's very, very bizarre. Here we have someone from Topanga, Florida. No explosion heard. I think they're probably referencing the Blue Origin explosion. And so, yeah, it wasn't felt across. That explosion was not felt across all of Florida, though there were, I did see at least one report showing they felt it and heard it. They heard it in Sarasota. So that's pretty far out, meaning that, you know, that's pretty much across the peninsula. But that adds a pretty big radius to this whole thing, right? So that's a pretty wide area. A comment from Demon6868. They were testing a weapon underground. We hope not. But considering the history of the United States, I wouldn't put it past them. But if we would probably pick up waveforms for that. Interesting that maybe we can see the waveforms for this. Let's see what pops up. This is interesting. Okay. We might not have really any good seismic coverage over there. Let's check it out. I mean, that's pretty far away. That's even further. Do they have a station like right near this? I don't think they do. But let's check this one. Waverly, Tennessee. You do kind of see these strong compressional waves come in right here, but you really see it best on our BH2 component, which, well, BHZ is going to be vertical. We're going to want, if we're looking at Tennessee, we're going to want the eastern one. So let's see if there's any information about which oriented north, south, east, west. Typically BH1 would be north, south, and then BH2 would be east, west. So that'd be the alignment direction. But I don't know specifically if that is the case. But if that is, then we do see these 3 strong waveforms right around the time of detection. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see if there's any information as to whether it's north, south, east, west for this. Don't think there is. We can look at also Wyandotte Cave, Indiana. And let's see if we get something similar there, even though it is more northeast. Not really. So unfortunately, we don't have a seismic station. Well, I think we do, but this specific network doesn't really show them. Maybe if I click that off, more will show up. Okay. Let's check out this one right here from Georgia, nearby. Nothing really popping out in these waveforms here, I would say. And if we go up to Greensboro, let's see, no data, okay. Here's one from Knoxville, basically. See if we get anything. No, not really. So, again, pretty mysterious what's just been happening. Let's check out this one from Alabama. I know it's pretty far away, but let's check it out. No, interesting pattern there. So yeah, this is really pretty unknown. I don't know what it was. Here we do have someone commenting on this. And I saw this from someone else as well, saying supersonic F-16, they fly around here all the time. And that very well could be the case. You know, I'm not living there. I've heard these. I was in Ukraine during the war in 2024 when a Russian fighter jet went over and it like went supersonic. It also like dropped a bomb. So I have a little bit of experience with hearing like explosions and sonic booms and everything, okay? The thing is, if it was an F-16, I'm not saying it's not, but if it was an F-16 and they fly around here all the time, you think that there'd be these reports all the time. And this one is pretty anomalous. It's not like, at least I've never heard of these mysterious sonic booms being heard by thousands and being reported on. I mean, this seems pretty notable and novel. So just yeah, some commentary on that. Maybe it is these F-16s. I know they also do. There's military bases all across the United States where these you know, hot shots are going crazy with their planes. So you know, don't know what it is. And a comment here from You Dumb Messed Up. Aaron, if no seismograph data, then not nuclear. If airbursts only, think re-entry or flyover. Yeah, so re-entry of space junk or like entry of a meteorite, which again, we don't have any data for. No eyewitness accounts, you know, we don't see that. Or flyover of like maybe some supersonic aircraft. So maybe they're testing some new technology, right? Like these fighter jets are old now. It's like there is like better top secret classified tech that exists, and maybe they flipped the switch and just punched it like crazy. I mean, I don't know how fast these things can go now. Mach 10, I don't know. But yeah, maybe it was Maverick. Either way, some odd things happening right now over the southeast United States. And as for when my experience with Ukraine, it was actually Western Ukraine. So it was on a day where they did widespread bombing across and air campaigns and raids across Western Ukraine. I was in Kyiv for Independence Day, and they sent 4 supersonic missiles, like these cruise missiles or something, to hit during Independence Day. This is Ukrainian Independence Day. This is in July, I believe. Yeah, well, it was July. Or is it August? I think it's July. It's like mid-July. They shot them down outside the city. So thankfully, I was kind of protected while I was there. But when I was in Western Ukraine, it was the one day they did this like widespread campaign across Western Ukraine, and I saw that. And it wakes you up, and it gives you a new appreciation for when a plane does fly over, like, oh, thankfully it's a commercial plane, and like an airliner, and not some attack death jet or something, because there are places in the world where that is the situation, and it quickly gets real. So, meteor explosion in the atmosphere, possibly, but there's no data supporting that yet. And Chris here, I don't know how accurate this is, right? But why did I hear a boom in Louisiana then? The question would be, when did you hear that boom? That'd be pretty far away. But I mean, there's weird stuff happening, so I'm not going to discount it. The question would be, what time did you hear that? And did it come from a certain direction? I'd be interested to hear if other people heard of some sort of explosion out of Louisiana. Again, sonic boom was around 5:30 p.m. Origin explosion was 9 p.m. This is Eastern time. Today, May 28th. Now it's the 29th if you're on the East Coast because it's first thing in the morning. So a lot of odd things happening right now, as you can tell. And oh, we don't want that. This is like some new comment on stage functionality. Yeah. So here we have another comment from Miss K. Hayden. Heard explosions in Evansville, Indiana. So I don't even really know where that is. Sorry. Indiana and Evansville. Okay. Evansville. Oh, okay, that's very potentially from this mysterious sonic boom. Here's Evansville right there. We see, and now if you did, you should really report the time if you know. You know, a good way to check is that, like, maybe you heard the explosion, you immediately texted someone. That would be a good timestamp of roughly when this occurred, if you did something like that or took a photo or video. But that's not that far away from someone that did do a report of this there from Kentucky. So it's possible that you said you heard explosions. Now someone's mentioning a Seneca boom phenomenon. I don't know what that means. So let's check it out. We're doing our research live right now. Okay. Seneca guns are loud booming noises, often described as sounding like thunder or cannon fire, primarily reported along the east coast of the United States, particularly near Lake Seneca in New York. They are believed to be caused by various natural phenomena, including small earthquakes or methane gas eruptions. Now that's Lake Seneca in New York. Let's see what the USGS says about these Seneca booms. Reports of unidentified booms have emerged from different places around the world for hundreds of years. And although many of the boom stories remain a mystery, others have been explained. Most of the booms that people hear or experience are the result of human activity, such as an explosion, a large vehicle going by, nearby construction, or sometimes a sonic boom. But there have been many reports of booms that cannot be explained by man-made sources. Some of them are associated with a variety of interesting natural phenomena, including earthquakes. Okay. Mysterious booms come from the northeast and along the east coast. Now, this is in the southeast, not the northeast, but still the east coast. There have also been observations along the west coast. Those on the East Coast have not been directly studied and explained, but we can deduce from observations and measurements in West Coast locations that at least some of the East Coast booms are associated with very small earthquakes. Some shallow earthquakes sometimes produce rumbling sounds or booms that can be heard by people who are very close to them. Again, that compressional wave that goes out from an earthquake can do that. But it's still typically a big earthquake. Like a small earthquake, it's not going to be that common unless, again, you're like on the epicenter, basically. And then it's not going to be heard across a wide region, right? This is being felt across a huge zone. So if we go back to our interactive map there, that's not from a little magnitude 2 earthquake or something. It simply isn't. And if we look here, we don't see any. Well, let's switch this to all magnitudes and let's see what we get to pop up. Here's our USGS earthquake map. Is this a sonic boom? Yeah, so that's the sonic boom because they labeled it magnitude 0. We do have this magnitude 1.9 that occurred at 8:20 Universal Time today, the 28th. So that's not it. Nothing else. Nothing else even close by. We don't even see like enhanced activity in the East Tennessee seismic zone. if we do overlay our U.S. hazard here, you will notice that this is an earthquake-prone region. You can get big earthquakes in this belt here. So we have New Madrid, we have the East Tennessee seismic zone, and then you also have this zone there of high earthquake risk because they've had high magnitude earthquakes here near Charleston. So this is occurring in this zone where there is higher seismicity, more tectonic forces, and more, but we don't know what this is from. So sometimes earthquakes create booming sounds even when no vibrations are felt. It is possible that's the case, but again, USGS has already come out and said no earthquake. So other causes are lightning, storm and tsunami waves, meteors, and sand dunes. Man-made causes include sonic booms, explosions, and construction. So being felt that wildly over an area, I think that kind of discounts it being perhaps like an F-16 because it all came in at one time. Now it does show a bit of a corridor there, but it's not like this was heard for 2 hours straight because the planes are flying around and lollygagging or whatever, right? It was like a pretty distinct moment in time. I'm trying to figure this out just like you guys are, okay? So if you have any information on this, please drop a comment for the live stream and I'll throw that on the stage. But Blue Origin, the second event that occurred today was the explosion of the New Glenn rocket, Blue Origin, as we can see right here. Boom shakalaka. You gotta get a boom shakalaka in for that. Massive, massive eruption out of Florida today from the Space Force launch site, Cape Canaveral. Obviously, they didn't want that to happen. It did happen. Props to Spaceflight Now for the footage, for collecting that, being there for that launch. And yeah, they do a great job. They're linked in the video description. They record a lot of these rocket launches and more for SpaceX and others. So Blue Origin on the chopping block today, I guess you could say. They're going to have to rebuild a lot of that launch site. They have a lot of launch sites at Cape Canaveral, but they're going to have to definitely do some construction work there. And someone right here is saying, Lord Andrew is saying they're launching 2 rockets tomorrow, still not canceled. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens going in the days ahead, because today has definitely been a bit odd as it relates to explosions and just sonic booms and things happening eastern United States, and maybe we got more. Again, one last thing to note. I mentioned it before, but I'll say it just one last time. This could have been related, perhaps, to a super bolt of lightning. We do get them. This part of the United States, in fact, right now having a lot of thunderstorm activity. We've observed super bolts over this location before, like roughly this location. They can stretch out hundreds of miles for a single contiguous lightning bolt flash, everything. So it is possible that that could do it, because the super bolt is 100 times, 1,000 times or more powerful than a regular lightning strike. And because they are a pretty quick event, if you did get one to spontaneously go as kind of an isolated event, it could generate a report like this. But if we go back here to our GOES 19 imagery, you'll see that there were thunderstorms nearby, but we only get just like a single little pixel event to occur for this. It's going to be at 2126 right there. This is roughly where this was heard, and we don't see some super strong event. So I don't have any good idea as to what this is, because nothing is really clearly showing a signal like a meteor or space junk or a super bolt or an explosion from a quarry or something like that, like earthquake. Nothing is basically giving us, hey, that's probably what it is. So mysterious explosion picked up widely across the southeast part of the United States. I've been your host, Stefan Burns, geologist, geophysicist, your cosmic bro, here to help you understand what is happening. I will continue to look into this. I don't expect to get any answers, maybe, but we'll find out probably in the next 24 hours whether or not we are going to discover what this was. But I'm not holding my breath. But as it relates to earthquake activity, as it relates to what's happening on our planet energetically, I keep you up to date almost every day with new videos. So please subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, help the channel grow. Thank you all for tuning in, wishing all of you well. If you heard this yourself or you saw the giant blue origin explosion in Florida, make sure you share your experience in the comments below. I know people from around the world will be, very curious to read and hear of your experience if you feel comfortable to share. So please consider doing that. Thank you all. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next video, and thank you so much.